You're ready to go. Outstand is your foe. Give your all or you'll fall. Now let's begin the show. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is This is week 7 of the Blue Moon Tournament. A match between Navolas on the left-hand side and Disco on the right. I am Mercury Wings, your host, and I'll be commentating this match as I have done all the previous ones for this tournament. So let's get into the action. Disco going into Dust Cross and promptly leading with a fast gauge. Navolas looking to knock down that barrier before he unleashes any of his chips, but Disco fires off a full cust. Navolas going to stick with his handful of chips. Disco on the other side going to use his Dust Cross dig, I'm sure, to find the chip his folder is built around. This particular folder is not one I've seen before, so I don't have much more information than that. I do know that the dust dig build that you've been seeing in Falzar that usually has the full cust on the first turn. The first barrier is really strong with it because it makes your opponent hesitate to dump their chips. The first thing they want to do is get rid of that barrier with their buster so they don't dump their chips, and then you get to fire off their full cust before they use anything. It puts you very far ahead in the way of tempo. So Whitecap Blastman, and there is a sensor slide coming out of Disco, and that's going to take quite a bit of health out of Navolas. And Navolas now has to watch out for sensors in the middle row with the mag coil to bring him to center, and the wind rack in the tank fan to slide back and forth. That can become very deadly very quickly. It's been quite a while since we've seen sensor sliding in competitive play. A lot of us have seen it before in the context of maxing out SP navies in game. Things are going to get even worse for Navolas as anti-navi is going to take his judgment, but that actually might be a blessing in disguise as it caused Disco's sensor to not show up, which probably kept him from taking a fatal sensor slide. Navolas firing off the Vulcan too quickly, and that's going to hold him in place to take Disco's cross divide. And with Disco being invisible for the entire turn, there was not a whole lot that Navolas could do to threaten him. The machine gun not going to connect, and Navolas is going to have to cross cancel, or else he'll be stuck in the animation and kind of be a sitting duck for whatever Disco chooses to finish him. So Navolas definitely having, to say the very least, an uphill battle ahead of him. Normally, Beast over Chrono Force would be something that would put the opponent in extreme danger, but Disco's life total is so high that even a full hit will not bring Disco's health down to 0. And to make matters even worse for Navolas, Disco is going to counter that Chrono Force with a Geddon. The soldiers do not appear on holes, so more than half of Navolas' chips didn't show up, and basically only the first wave hit to cause minimal damage. Killer Man is going to bring Navolas down to 1, and one Buster Shot is going to end this first game in favor of Disco. That game went very badly for Navolas, but he's got to put this one out of his mind and remember what it was that Disco was bringing, so he can remember what better to do against it next time. Have very much reason to believe that Disco is going into Dust Cross again, not because it's what his folder is meant to do, but also because of those cubes on the field. This time we have Navolas going straight to his machine gun and using his roll on time freeze counter, but it's not going to connect thanks to the rock cube. And we are in fact going to see Disco not go into full cust on the first turn. I do very much expect to see it on the second. Because what happens is when you're playing full cust on the first turn, a lot of times your opponent will try to play around it by only choosing one or two chips on that first turn. So you make them waste their first turn, then you use the full cust the next turn, you make them waste that turn as well. So that's what I'm expecting to see from Disco here. And we will see if this turns out to be correct. Disco in deliberation on what he wants to go with for the custom screen. And there's a life bar on Disco's side, an area grab. And there's the element going to freeze Navolas in place. The mat coil is actually going to have a weird interaction that causes the freeze that erases the freeze. And Navolas is barely going to get off his chips in time to take out Disco's R and get the healing from roll. So my prediction is turning out to be quite wrong about Disco using full cust on the second turn, but you see that this whole guessing game about when the full cust is coming could be very, very disruptive for someone playing against it. It always makes you second guess picking a full hand of chips because you don't know when that full cust is going to show up and cut your hand in half, basically. The second advance coming from Disco and a trap. Looks like he's going to lose both to the flash bomb. And then there's going to be a different kind of Star Thunder combo. It's literally Star and Thunder, not Star with Dull Thunder. But the Thunder chip does 40 damage, so 40 double to 80 is still not as strong as you might want. It doesn't take full advantage of that bubble star and that aqua body. Anti-damage coming up from Navolas. That's going to block the cross divide from Disco. Taking Man going to connect once. And thanks to the fast gauge, Navolas does not have enough time to fire off that wind rack. Navolas going into Killer Cross right now. and we see Disco thinking very carefully about what he wants to do, which is a good habit to get into. Just because you're ahead in health doesn't mean that you can sit there and be careless about your chip selection, about your turn planning. The turn where you decide to be careless about things like that is going to be the turn that you suddenly have your HP disappear on you without any rhyme or reason as to how it happened. So it looks like we're going to see a Sun Moon PA coming out of Navolas here. Meteors plus 30 with the uninstall behind it forms the Sun Moon PA, which, if you don't know, it focuses 3 spaces in front of you, and it deals 700 damage plus an uninstall. And the difficulty is getting that lined up, and that is not going to line up well. But the last bit, the 200. I believe it's either 200 or 300 that on that last bit that is going to splash, and it's going to be enough to remove the barrier. I think we saw Bodyguard get triggered on Disco's end, and now we're going to see Navolas showing up with his own Bodyguard to fire back on this. So we're going to have Shuriken flying everywhere here. There's the sensor. There's the Blast Man going to trigger Bodyguard, and then Navolas going to choose to get rid of the sensor, and Colonel Force is going to hold Disco in place for the Bodyguard, and suddenly Navolas is ahead in this match. With a white-capped Vulcan, Navolas decides that his best chance to make that one count is to go into Beast Over and take advantage of that auto-targeting one more time. Also take advantage of the ×2 that you get from no element chips in Beast Over. That's going to connect, and Navolas is going to take game 2, bringing the series even at 1-1. So here we are in game 3, with Navolas having 1 win and Disco having 1 win. So once again, we are seeing that Disco's deliberation in chip selection is very warranted, with him, even with him being up in HP, because a Bodyguard and Colonel Force turn can happen and suddenly turn 1400 HP into 140, or something similar like that. Fast gauge coming from Disco. We see him choosing not to go immediately into Dust Cross this time. And he's going to wait to make sure that sensor connects. Not the sensor, the Killer Man connects. The Buster Shot is going to trigger the anti-damage, and the White Cap Aquanil going to connect, and the Bubble Star going to connect from Navolas on the opposite side. Very much expecting a cross cancel here, as Disco does not want to take triple damage from any electric attack, being both in Aqua Cross and having an additional Aqua Body from the Bubble Star. The threat being particularly evident because Navolas does happen to be an electric cross, so I very much expect that to be at the forefront of Disco's mind as he cross cancels out of this bubble, and he's going to mash out Invis before that Thunder comes out, and there is a there's a trap behind that as well, and the Thunder is actually just going to leave the screen. Navolas waiting for the invis to expire, but this is a fast gauge turn, and that invis is not going to expire before the turn ends. That's one thing that's very frustrating about playing against fast gauge. You can pick a handful of chips and make a plan for your turn, and then one invis goes off and it doesn't even matter because none of your chips are going to hit. Disco following that up with a full cust to just burn through another turn of Navolas' Beast out and make his invis last for longer. There's the Judge Man, followed up by the Aqua Needle. And thanks to the fast gauge, Navolas does not even have enough time to chip charge in his Beast out. So Navolas finally decided to send those chips away and just grab a whole other set. But that's going to turn out pretty badly. Whew. Pardon me. Yesterday was New Year's Eve. That's my excuse for that yawn. But sending that many chips to the bottom against an opponent that's got 1900 HP puts you in a position to run out of chips at the end of the match when your opponent still has health left. And that right now, Navolas doesn't even have the luxury of worrying about that because his health is so critically low. So there's so many things that Navolas has to consider in order to have a chance at taking this game 3 and taking this match. Navolas, with his health low, is going to be going into Beast Over, especially to take advantage of the doubling of the power of the null element chips. But this is not going to turn out particularly well for Navolas, for not only is Disco's health high enough to where he didn't have the chance at the deletion anyway. Disco spent that entire turn invisible, so there was no chance of anything he selected hitting that turn. So the cross divide is going to miss, but this is still a very bad situation for Navolas as his health is draining rapidly, and there's another invis from Disco. Chrono Force not getting any boost from Beast Out or Beast Over. Not going to do its normal amount of damage, and even a full hit from a bodyguard PA will not eliminate Disco. And all Disco has to do to take out Navolas is fire off one successful Buster Shot, and Buster Shots, there are no traps that care about Buster Shots, including Bodyguard. Disco going to try to mag coil to bring his opponent to the center, and roll 3 going to be countered by Element Man. That's going to set up the Bodyguard, but the Bodyguard will not matter to Disco because he's under the live bar, and Disco's going to take that one home. So the match ends 2-1 in favor of Disco. Well played on the part of both players, and that will be it for this match. Thank you for watching. Mercury Wings out.